Sunday was Easter, but this Sunday is as well. It is also the Sunday before the feast of St. Mark the Evangelist, a man who lived into Easter through his spreading of the gospel. In the Christian church, we celebrate Easter for 10 days more than we celebrate Lent. Too often, though, I think we forget this. We tend to mark Lent with deprivation and gloom and remember the death of Jesus, and at times try to blame people who died almost 2,000 years ago for being caught up in the Roman imperial influence. But when we truly embrace the Easter message, we celebrate the victory over death rather than dwelling on the horrific death that Jesus suffered. And it is not just us today, it is those earliest disciples as well who had a hard time living into Easter. Mary, Peter, John, and several other women had been to the tomb. Mary had seen her teacher and friend alive again, and yet only Thomas dared to venture out. The rest stayed behind a locked door in fear that they would be rounded up and executed, whether by the Romans themselves or by their own people trying to curry favor with the Romans, or even to protect actual insurrectionists from the Romans. Jesus appeared to all of them and offered them his peace and the Holy Spirit. He gave them the tools to go out into the world and live into the resurrection, to, as the blessing of St. Clare says, live without fear. But instead of going out, they turned inwardly to this argument with Thomas, the one who had gone out into the world. And Thomas, apparently thinking that they were trying to pull a fast one on him, makes this declaration: unless I see the mark of the nails in his hands and put my finger in the mark of the nails and my hand in his sides, I will not believe. And for this, we remember Thomas as doubting Thomas. But without believing in the resurrection, without believing Mary's testimony, Thomas was still willing to go out, to continue on, to take care of the rest of the company. Without belief, without the peace of Christ, and without the breath of the Holy Spirit, Thomas went out, because it was the right thing to do. We, who have, like the other disciples, received the Holy Spirit through confirmation and share the peace of Christ and are renewed in it every Sunday, we may not see and touch the risen Jesus this side of our own graves, but we nonetheless have the tools to strengthen us in our belief. And we have been commissioned, as those first disciples were, to go out into the world and forgive sins and retain sins. Now, when we talk about sin, too often we dwell on individual actions and create lists of things that we see as sins. But that is not what sin truly is. Yes, those things we do that hurt one another in God's creation and which separate us from one another are wrong. It is the impact, not the action, that needs to be understood. We are sent into the world to heal the chasm between God and God's creation and amongst one another. We are sent into the world to make it one. We are called to call attention to that which is causing us to see one another as less than the image of the divine. We are called to condemn the hurts that we are doing to one another. We are called to speak on behalf of the ignored and silenced. But we are called, above all else, to love, and through that love, bring God's peace into our broken world.